Islam? Islam.
Islamism.
Islam.
Can I be heard?
Islam, family.
Islam. Did you hear the beginning when I started?
No Muslim.
Islam, you didn't?
I'm just now getting on. I didn't hear anything when I got on.
Oh, okay.
Islam.
You heard it?
Islam. No, this brother Karen. I've been on since 9:01. I haven't heard anybody on as well myself, but I'm here.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I am Sheikh Lawrence Youngbae, National Treasurer and Divine Minister out of the North Carolina Republic. First, I rise giving all perfect praise to Allah and to all our ancestors, some we know of and some we don't, and to all our true and divine prophets, just to name a few: Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Allah, the first, the second, and the third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Allah, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and to our National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bay, to our Grand Body, to the Sheikhs, Sheikhesses, Deputy Sheikhesses, brothers and sisters, and parents and students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you with Islam, 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 which stands for peace, peace, peace. Happy Holy Night to all on the call, to all Muslims all around the world, and to all the Muslims who couldn't be on the call. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our Friday night call given by the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic. Shabbat, as we proceed, we always open with our Moorish American prayer. Those who are able, please stand and face the east, arms perpendicular to the floor, feet at a 45-degree angle, 5 fingers extended on the left hand, 2 fingers extended on the right hand, close together. Islam. Islam, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protection, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, through Allah. Amen. Peace. I'd like to have someone read the Constitution and bylaws. Islam. Islam, Dr. Chief Mukalbe.
Islam, Shabbat Shalom, Divine Minister.
Islam.
Islam, praying all Israel with all on the call and the Divine Minister and all my sons all of the birds. Let the Sheikh Mikal Mashir Bay ever rise and give him perfect praises to Allah, one of Father God of the universe, and cherisher of all worlds. Giving honors to all true and divine prophets, seen and seen, known, unknown, and reincarnated, and to illustrious Hebrew prophet in the age and time, Prophet Noble Drew Allah. Extending those honors to our National Grand Sheikh, George Betson Bay, and officials in Baltimore, the children, family, guests, visitors on the call. Shout out to Marcus Messiah, God be the forerunner. And I intend to pray that guide us through these turbulent times. Shabbat Shalom, greeting to all. As I proceed to read the Moorish Science Temple bylaws, divine constitutional bylaw, Islam. Represent and star of salvation, all seeing eyes of Allah, and press of unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution and bylaws by Prophet Noble U.S.A. Act 1. The Grand Chief and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Chief is to assist the Grand Chief in all affairs that he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and this is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his father God the law. Well, that cause Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all, and may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these men were given to slavery by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. This is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national names to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nation of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordains Noble U.S.A, the Prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a portion of all the 15 acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and then they are entitled to the name of faithful husband. You must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of their household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of one humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and their minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from the Holy Prophet, noble through our life, through the guidance of His Father God, Allah. There is a reading of the divine constitution and bylaws. Islam, beg your pardon. I turn the floor to the moderator, Islam.
Islam. Thank you for reading Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Deputy Sheikh Makal Mashur Bey. I would like to have someone read the additional laws of the Moorish Science Temple.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Sheikh. All is well.
Islam, all is well.
Indeed. Good to hear your vibration this creation.
Islam.
Islam family. This is Deputy Sheik, Brother Mainstream Gray Bay, 44, and I'm calling out of the Massachusetts Commonwealth. First and foremost, I would like to rise to my highest heights and give all perfect praise to our Mother, Father, God, Allah. I'd like to remain standing, extend those honors to all true and divine prophets, known and unknown, naming and recognizing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and to our last prophet in these days and times, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Jew Ali, in the first, second, and third form. I remain standing and extend honors to our National Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay, to all our national officials, all sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, to all our family, friends, guests, and to our illustrious future, our children. I greet you all in and with Islam. Happy holy day to all you Muslims on the call and the ones that's not on the call. And I'll proceed to read the additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand Sheiks and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali before acting upon by any members, that it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheik. Act 2. All members are to attend their adept meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation, and if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses, who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, to know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of the uplifting act of Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Abu Allah, through the guidance of his father God, Allah, Islam, and there ends the reading of the additional laws. Islam, Sheikh, I return the floor to you. Peace.
I'd like to thank Deputy Sheikh, Mainstream Gray Bay 44, for that great read, Islam. May Allah bless the reading of the Constitution and bylaws and additional laws, Islam. Members or visitors on the call who would like to acknowledge their presence at this time, please press ** and unmute your phones and be recognized.
Islam.
I'll yield.
Islam, this is merciful Kirkland Bay out of the Greenwood County, South Carolina Republic. A happy holy day and happy holy night to all the Muslims on the phone call. And Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Peace.
Peace. Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam.
Islam is Brother Kerry. Islam.
Islam.
I mean, heard?
Yes. Loud and clear.
All right. This is Brother Kerry Pittman calling out of the Marion County, Florida Republic with S. Pittman. Just saying Islam, happy holy night to everybody in the call. I finally started class this Wednesday. I'm happy about that. My vibration's still high from it, and y'all usually sometimes hear me on the holy nights. Usually I smile for my silly self, and all I can do is usually smile, but I got a little bit more to say tonight. And look, I'm call y'all in the right place to be. I'm just happy that all of y'all are here. And, I'm happy to be here. I feel like I'm home. I'm gonna just put a period behind my statement, y'all. Peace.
Islam, Brother Pittman. Thank you. Thank you for your Islam. Islam. Are you a brother and a sister? Islam.
Islam. This is Sister Shelley Wade Bay calling from the New Jersey Republic. Just calling to say happy holy night to all of the Muslims across the world. Brother Pittman, I appreciated that energy. I appreciated that. Islam and peace.
Islam. Thank you, Sister Shelley Wade Bay. Islam.
Islam. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Brother Kurt Green from North Carolina Republic, Islamism. I'm in my third and final semester for the finish the course of the national ID card, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to participate, and happy Holy Friday. And I yield. Islam.
Glad to hear from you, Brother Kurt Green. Green. Glad to hear from you, brother. Your vibrations are very positive, and I'm glad that you finished the course. Islam. Is anyone else?
Islam, Sheikh. Happy Holy Day. This is Marcus Trevor Eel calling out of Connecticut Republic. Wishing everyone a happy Holy Day. Islam and peace.
Islam. Could you repeat your name on?
Marcus Reynolds Eel.
Okay. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Islam. Thank you, Brother Reynolds Hill. Islam.
Islam, Sheikh Young, very divine minister, all is well.
Islam, oh, baby. Islam.
Islam, this is Islam. This is W. Sheikah, Carla Green Eel from the National Commonwealth. Wishing all the Moors on the call, all the Muslims around the world, a happy holy day and a happy holy night. Shabbat Shalom. Islam and peace.
Islam. Islam. Carla Green Eel, Deputy Speakers, Carla Green Eel. Thank you for that spirit there. That's lighten everything up. And to give it that balance. Islam, is anyone else?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Divine Minister. This is Sister Darlene Gore-Ill from the South Carolina Republic, checking in for the family. Happy Holy Day, Happy Holy Night. Islam and peace.
Thank you, Sister Gore-Ill, and your families for checking in for your family. And may Allah bless your family. Islam. Is there anyone else?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Brother Andre Quimbush, Detroit, Michigan, giving praises to Allah, honors to the Lord Prophet, honors that was previously given. Happy holy day to all the Moors out there. Wisdom, will, and love. Peace.
Islam. Peace, Mo. Thank you, Brother Winbush. Thanks a lot for introducing yourself. Islam, is anyone else?
Islam, Sheikh.
Islam.
We have 29 participants on the call. Islam.
Oh, we have 29. Okay, Islam, oh, thank you. Is there anyone else? Islam.
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 Islam, mo.
Islam, mo.
Brother George, Quebec Republic. Wishing everyone on the call a happy holy night and all Moors around the world. Peace and love. Islam.
All right. Brother George Hill, I feel your vibrations. Islam. Islam. Welcome you and your family. Islam. Is there anyone else would like to call?
Islam. Islam, Sheikh Young Bay. This is Brother Dimitri. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great, brother. I'm blessed by the best.
Yes, we all are. I just want to, this is Brother Demetrius Williams-Ill calling from Massachusetts Commonwealth. Letting the Moors know it's Friday. Happy Holy Night. Happy Holy Day. And peace and love to you all. Islam, Islamism.
Islam. Thank you, Demetrius Williams. Thank you, brother. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, this is Deputy Sheikah Wanda Gomes Bay, calling from Florida Republic. I'd like to wish everyone a happy holy day, happy holy night. Islam.
Islam. Deputy Sheikah Gomes Bay. Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Welcome, Sheikahs, Deputy Sheikahs. Islam. Is there anyone else like to call?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. My name is Brother Christian Martin Bay. I'm Islam consulate in public. Happy Holy Day, Islam and peace.
All right, Islam and peace. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam. Could you repeat your name, please?
Brother Christian Water Bay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, sister. Brother, I'm sorry. Apologize. Brother Christian. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in and make their presence known?
Islam?
Islam.
Islam, Divine Minister. This is Brother Curtis Douglas calling from New York Republic. Happy Holy Night. Calling with my family. Islam and peace.
Islam, brother. Islam, Brother Curtis Douglas. Islam.
Islam.
Thank you for calling. Islam.
Islam, Divine Minister, Sheikh Young Bay. How are you this evening?
Everything peaceful. I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Islam, praise Allah. Islam to the family. This is Sister Norma Solomon Eel of Deputy Sheikis, calling out of the Bronx County in the New York Republic. I'd like to wish the Moors a happy holy night, holy day. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Peace and love.
Islam. Deputy Sheikis Solomon Eel. Good to hear your vibrations. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in?
Islam?
Islam.
Islam. This is Sister Culver House out of the New York Republic. Just calling to say happy holy day and Shabbat Shalom. Islam.
Islam. Sister Culver House. Good to hear your vibration. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Divine Minister. This is Sister Nora Joseph, calling out of the Florida Republic. I'm wishing all on the call happy holy night and all the Moors around the world. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Peace.
Islam. Sister Joseph. Good to hear your vibration. Islam. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in and make their presence known? Okay, at this time, we would like to have a volunteer. Islam? I'm sorry. Apologize. Was someone going to call in? Islam. At this time, we'd like to have someone to read the Shabbat Shalom Unity Prayer. Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam, Brother Giorgio.
Islam.
Islam.
I am Brother Georgia, coming out of Quebec Republic. I will be reading the Holy Night Prayer. Rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to our Mother, Father God, Allah, the Father of the universe. I give honors to all our ancestors, known and unknown. As I remain standing, I give honors to all the divine prophets, beginning with Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and in these last days and time, our illustrious prophet, Abu Jawali. I give honors to our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bey, Temple 13, Baltimore, Maryland. I give honors to all sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs and deputy sheikesses, all officials, members, brothers, sisters, family, friends. I say Islam. Bringing in during the Sabbath. Bismillah. In the name of Allah. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. O Most High, Thou art the creator of all there is, the all of life, the omniscient, the all providing, the all of love. We come to Thee this Sabbath Eve, grateful for Your imbuing us with the radiant substance of health these 7 days past, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our living. We thank Thee for the blessings of the divine substance of wealth flowing into our lives 7 days past, filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank You for all these blessings, and we bless Thy name and worship Thee and Thee alone. We bless the creation past and pray that Thou wilt find our deeds, our work, our service to Thee approving in Thy sight. By Your grace, we love Thee, we love Thee, we love Thee, O Most High. We bless the creation, yet manifesting thanking Thee for the breath of life and the radiant substance of health permeating our being, endowing us with the vibrant presence in all areas of our lives, ever praying that our deeds, our work, our service to Thee in this creation will be found approving in Thy sight. Inshallah. We thank Thee for the flow of the divine substance of wealth, this creation, filling our lives with abundance and greatness. We thank You. Truly without Thee, the all-providing, we are lost. And with Thee, the omnipotent, the victory is ever ours. We thank You for Your indwelling Spirit speaking and directing us to our best and highest good. May we ever hear Your voice, heed Your word, and manifest Thy thought. Our eyes see Thy divinity. Our mouth speak Thy words. Our hands accomplish Thy work. Our feet walk Thy path. We thank You for the wisdom to know Thy will, the fortitude to manifest Thy will, the perseverance to persist in Thy way until Thy will be done. We love and thank You, Divine One. We love and thank You for every opportunity to serve Thee, to accomplish Thy will. Thy will be done. May Thy indwelling Spirit guide and protect us this creation as we build and manifest Thy divine estate in the living now. Giving thanks and praises to Thee and Thee We love thee. We love thee. We love thee, O Most High. Amen. Ashe. Amunra. Shila. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And this is the conclusion of our Holy Night prayer. I now return the floor to our moderator and divine minister, Islamo.
Islamo, thanking Brother George Eo for reading that Shabbat Shalom prayer. It is so uplifting to hear that prayer. And before we go any further, again, I'd like to invite any members who have joined the call to acknowledge their presence. If you would like to press star and acknowledge your Islam.
Islam. This is Sister Nadez Joseph from Quebec Republic. Just tuning in to say, sorry, Islam family, love you much. Peace.
Islam. Thanks, Sister Joseph, for reporting in. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in?
Islam. Islam. This is Sister Emily Nader calling from the New York Republic. I'd like to wish everyone on the call a happy holy day, happy holy night, and happy holy night to all the Muslims around the world. Peace and love.
Islam. Sister Nader. Islam. Islam. Thank you for your presence. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in? Islam. Before Islam.
Islam. This is Miriam Tuma. Good to hear your vibration. This is Miriam Tuma calling out of the New York Republic. I just want to wish everybody on the call a happy holy night, happy holy day, and Islam and peace to all.
Islam. Islam. Good to hear your vibrations. Is there anyone else who would like to call in and make their presence known?
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Good night, everyone. This is Sister Michelle Ewart in the New York Republic. Just wishing everyone a happy holy night, happy holy day, and Shabbat Shalom, peace and love to all. Islam.
Islam, Michelle York. Islam. Islam, Islam. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in? Islam. Sister, the last sister who called in, your name is York, right? Michelle York? Islam?
Islam. It's Ewart, like a Stewart without the ST.
Oh, okay. Okay, you were breaking up, but Islam.
Islam, thank you.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. This is Sheikh Kaisenberg, Texas Republic, just checking in.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Islam, Sheikh Kaisenberg.
Islam, and happy holy day.
The same to you, Moo. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to call in? Islam. I would like to, before we go to chapter 20, I would like to congratulate all the deputy sheikhesses and all the deputy sheikhs for making that move to uplift yourself and go to a higher learning. Islam. We're going to go to chapter 20, but I wanted to inform the Moors that tonight, though we're going through chapter 20, next week we'll skip chapter 21, and we'll be reading chapter 22. That's next week, chapter 22, and that's on July 16th. The following week will be July 23rd, which is, the next week is July 23rd, but we'll be reading the 23rd chapter. And the last Friday, July 30th, we'll be going through back to chapter 21. Okay? The reason is that chapter 22 and 23 speaks directly to the male energy. And then 21 speaks directly to the husband and wife. So next week, we'll be going to 22, and the week after, we go into 23. Then we'll be going to 21. Everybody mark that down on the calendar. Islam. Could I have someone read chapter 20 for me? Islam.
Islam, this is Deputy Sheikah Carolyn Young Bay calling out of the North Carolina Republic. First, I rise, giving all perfect praises to our God Allah, to all of our ancestors, known and unknown, to all of our true and divine prophets, just to name a few, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, our Redeemer, our illustrious Hebrew prophet, Noble Drew Ali, in his first, second, and third form. I extend my honors to the forerunner for Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Mosiah Ghazi, to our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bey, to the Grand Body, to our sheikhs, sheikesses, deputy sheikhs, deputy sheikesses, brothers and sisters, and parents in our Sunday school, parents of our students in our Sunday school, and everyone on the call. I greet you all with Islam. Happy holy night to everyone. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. I'll be reading from our Holy Quran, Circle 7, the Holy Instructions of our Prophet, Chapter 20, Holy Instructions and Warning for all young men. Beware, young men, beware of all the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. The madness of desire shall defeat its own pursuits. From the blindness of its rage, thou shalt rush upon destruction. Therefore, give not up thy heart to her sweet enticements, neither suffer thy soul to be enslaved by her enchanting delusions. The fountain of health, which must supply the stream of pleasure, shall quickly be dried up, and every spring of joy shall be exhausted. In the prime of thy life, old age shall overtake thee. The sun shall decline in the mornings of thy days. But when virtue and modest enlighten her charms. The luster of a beautiful woman is brighter than the stars of heaven, and the influence of her power it is in vain to resist. The whiteness of her bosom transcendeth the lily. Her smile is more delicious than a garden of roses. The innocence of her eyes is like that of a turtle. Simplicity and truth dwell in her heart. The kisses of her mouth are sweeter than honey. The perfumes of Arabia breath from her lips. Shut not thy bosom to the tenderness of love. The purity of its flame shall ennoble thy heart and soften it to receive the fairest impressions. That's the end of our chapter 20, Holy Instructions and Warning for All Young Men. We turn the floor to the moderator. Islam, please.
Islam. I'd like to thank Deputy Sheikah Carolyn Youngbay for that read of the chapter 20. At this time, I want to read some other information on the holy instructions and warnings for all young men. As stated earlier, we now enter the family building section of our holy instructions, chapter 20, the first of this set of 5, directs its message to our young men who, without proper guidance, may considering the corrupt world into which we are born so easily be misled by unexplained physical emotions so new to them. Without a strong male principle in our nation, the family unit becomes subject to the unholy instructions preferred prolifically by the dominant society. So in our unconscious prophet, Noble Drew Ali emphasizes the importance of we Moorish American men manifesting righteousness, male principles, energy, by which we raise ourselves, revert our individual selves to that divine self-mind, being the attributes of Allah in the flesh. The first 5 verses, in accord with the title, constitute a warning to our young brothers and is yet worthy of the attention of men of all years. The admonition is simple. Tie yourself to an undivine woman, and misery, pain, and degradation are your meat. More than the qualities of this undesirable connection, the potential weak spots and susceptibilities of most unconscious men are emphasized. Yet the divinely consecrated are also vulnerable when not diligent in living these lessons. We note the story of Samson as one case in point, and our noble messenger directs us to avoid what we call loose woman. That young woman be everything but divine. Yet the divine woman comes forth in the second half of his chapter. The contrast between the former and latter is astounding at the least. The passage describing the former uses the words, quote, wantonness, unquote, quote, madness, unquote, quote, blindness, unquote, quote, rage, unquote, quote, destruction, unquote, quote, enslaved, unquote, and delusions, unquote. While the passage communicating the person of the latter uses of the words, quote, virtue, unquote, quote, modesty, unquote, quote, lustre, unquote, quote, whiteness, unquote, and parentheses, purity, quote, transcendent, unquote, quote, delicious, unquote, quote, garden of roses, unquote, quote, innocence, unquote, quote, simplicity, unquote, quote, truth, unquote, quote, honey, unquote, quote, perfumes, unquote, quote, tenderness, unquote, quote, love, unquote, quote, purity, unquote, quote, ennoble, unquote, quote, soften, unquote, and, quote, fairness impressions, unquote. To so relate her character. The challenge for us is that of the sacred and profane are reversed. The glory and the shame have been misplaced. Society in general teaches us to follow our lover, our Lord, Islam, subhanAllah, our Lord, and mind to pursue our carnal folly, while we instinctively know that the opposite is the better course. That better course is sister proved by the greater society, the greater portion of which is akin to sheep being led by slaughter. So in these 10 verses, our messenger directs we Moorish men to stabilize our nation by maintaining ourselves in a state of divine union with our Creator until such time that we are able, blessed with the company of the divine. Woman, spoken in verse 6 to 10. Remember, it is the European psychology which causes our Moorish men to contribute to the corruption of our female principle. The brother who, quote, runs, unquote, and pursues women after women, once decided that he desires a wife, seeks out, quote, church girl, unquote, someone without, quote, worldly knowledge, unquote. In other words, after participating in his lower self, behaviors debasing, sisters and rascals now desire a woman who has known no other. This is total absurdity. We participate not. We are grateful for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who brought us these divine instructions of proper conduct, adab, bringing us to ourselves. In essence, the lessons here are simple and direct. We as men must conduct ourselves in the most divine manner possible. I'll repeat that. We as men must conduct ourselves in the most divine manner possible. There is no middle ground, no gray area. It is live and direct. We are divinely or passed away. We live and enjoy the beauties of all life, uplifting self, family, and community, or we perish by our own hand. To be worthy of such a divine woman, each man must himself be such a divine man. Consecrate to maintain yourself to Allah in the heart. Be of the God-man, destined, live the God-man life. Receive the reward of a God-woman partner. A dog man, never worthy the reward of a God woman. Dog man is worthy only of a bitch he engenders. Be the God man, ever worthy of a God woman. Islam at this time would like to have someone elaborate, or anyone elaborate on chapter 20. Islam, the floor is now open. Islam. There's no one to elaborate on chapter 20.
Islam. This is Deputy Sheikis Carolyn Young Bay, Re-Rising. Chapter 20. Clearly, the verses 1 through 5 speaks to the warnings that if not recognized and is practiced, will surely cause specifically our younger men, but also as stated in the commentary by Divine Minister Sheikh Young Bay, that it's for every man in general to pay attention to as they navigate through still this earthly plane full of corruption and the low standards that this European psychology still tries to enforce on us. That these alluring traps are still present and still being set to entrap our men. Many a day I've heard the saying that if you want to bring down a man, get a woman involved. Islam. So initially, to bring this question to the floor, I thought to only direct it to the brothers, but knowing that there are sisters out there who may be raising their sons alone, I wanted to ask this question to the brothers and the sisters. How would you prepare those men, young men in your life, prepare them for some of the things that the Prophet is warning that they may surely encounter. A lot of new emotions that they may be experiencing are certainly going to need to be handled and dealt with. What do? What do you say? How do you explain to them what sweet enticement is or enchanting delusions are? Islam, anyone that's available or would like to answer that question, I'll put that question on the floor. Islam and peace, I return the floor to the moderator.
Islam. I'd like to thank Deputy Sheikah Carolyn Youngbay for that elaboration on the chapter, and she has a question on the floor. Feel free to elaborate on that question. Remember that what you're saying, it can't be wrong, because you're going towards the positive aspect, and you're dealing with your higher self to answer the question. So whatever you say will be sufficient, and we'll take it from the highest plane of spirit life. Islam.
Islam, Brother Andre Wimbush, Detroit, Michigan. Love to give praises to Abba. All Abba, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And honors to beloved prophet, the last prophet in these days, Noble Drew Ali, first, second, and third forms. Give honors to the Grand Sheikh, Joe Biden Bay, honors that was previously given. And definitely give honors to all that I have heard. This divine instruction from the Holy Prophet. You know, sometimes when I had first came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, you got to take heed to it, because these is holy instructions. And I mean, it's a good thing, you see a beautiful sister, and you just came into the temple and you want to take her to the temple and show her, what you're a part of, what you're trying to be. And most of the time, she only joined for you. She really don't join for herself. That's on my part. But praise Allah that took her in. Took them in and let them see a part of what I'm a part of. But these holy instructions for warning for all young men, especially me. Now I know. The Prophet said, take you 50 years to realize what I brought you. If you ain't careful, it'll take you another 50 years. So I should have been careful, you know what I'm saying? But praise Allah, at the same time, this is a double warning. It should have been triple for me, but all is well. One, beware, young men. Beware of all anointment and wantonness, and let not the heartlet tempt thee to express in her delight. Yeah, I'm kind-hearted. I'm just that type of person to a sister, So I give in. I ain't gonna lie. I give in, But you can't really give in too much, because later down the line, you'll be the one, as the Prophet said, like, dang, why me? So when you pick these beautiful sisters out, you gotta take your time, examine with care. Know, know where she at in life and what she's trying to do. Yourself too. You foremost got to study yourself, know yourself. Look at yourself. I want that. Now, I see my lifestyle. All I do is just work. I spend most of my time just working, I can't mess with your sister. I'm on something else, I tried that, then you try to get them in, and the first thing is, oh, you learned that from prison. I didn't know I learned that from prison. I just got that from, when I went to the Million Man March. But if I did, oh well, praise Allah. You know what I'm saying? Joali did change me from naught else. Now I'm all else. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. But the sisters, we love them, we cherish them, and we do give in, assisting them. You know, I think that's my biggest part. When I assist them, then it's just, okay, let's have a relationship. It'll work out. Sometimes it does, most of the time it don't. Because they want to run back out to the streets. They want to go out to the streets and go out to the clubs and go out of that. I did that. I ain't knocking it. I did that and seen that life and rode all that life. But we got to change. We got to think for the future. You know, think for what we're going to do for ourselves, you know. So we should pay attention when we see a sister. What do she like? You know what I'm saying? What's she into? How do she dress? You know what I'm saying? How she has her attitude? You know what I'm saying? Is she putting all this perm in her hair? Is she spending most of the time on the internet, Facebook, and you know, allurement of all her beauty and all this and that? You already know what you know, falsehood in the line and foot's not. I ain't going to the temple, or I'm not going to the mosque, or I'm not this and that, or I don't believe in your God. Don't even waste your time. You'll hurt yourself in the long run, Dre. So now I know this time I'm being careful. I'm being very, very careful. You know what I'm saying? So this time I pray that I get a Moorish American sister who loves the Prophet more than I love the Prophet, so we can breathe on each other. We can run laws on each other. You know, we can go into the duties of a husband, marriage instructions, and make ourselves better in the things that we got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because some men, we do fall short for the sisters. You know what I'm saying? We go out, the cures of the world, messing with the not else, and then we get what we deserve, you know. But in a long time, hey, let's praise Allah. He gave us these holy divine instruction, you know. And for our young children, with the question the sister said, yeah, I always tell my son, he see me like now he watch me and observe, you know, and he sees that I tell him you gotta pick a sister who's nice, who's generous, who's like your mother a little bit, but dressed more modesty, who caring, who got the knowledge, who gonna love you and cherish you, ain't doing things not else, because you can get with the wrong sister, and then next thing you know, you mad, or she just want to have a baby, or just want to get you for child support, and you know, just drive you crazy. Don't rush into it. Just take your time. Years ago, I said the women used to always wait like 6 months, 5 months, at least even touch her. You know what I'm saying? She quit the fast. Come on, let's go get this weed, and lay down, and you know, R. Kelly go half on a baby. Oh no. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take your time and examine her, talk to her, kick it with her, you know what I'm saying? See what her head's at, you know what I'm saying? See if you can meet her parents, you know what I'm saying? The parents are like you, then okay, all is cool. Don't rush upon your destruction, because you'll hurt yourself. So that's my part of understanding and peace and love, and I'd love to hear more of this holy and divine instruction warning for all young men, because we definitely need it, and this is a divine holy instruction. Peace and love, love and peace.
Thank you, Mo. Islam. Thank you, Brother Winbush. Thank you for that elaboration. Islam. Is there anyone else who would like to elaborate on this chapter 20?
Islam. Islam, Sheikh Young Bey, Deputy Sheikh Brother Roy Bey here, calling from the New York Republic.
Islam, Mo. Islam.
Islam. All right, so first I want to rise to my highest heights and give praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, who is almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. The universal governor of this world seen and worlds that are unseen. I give honors to John the Harbinger, also known to us as the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, both harbinger and forerunner to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all true and divine prophets, namely Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. I give honors to all you Moorish Americans on the call tonight. National Grand Sheikh Brother Joe Bratton Bey, I extend those honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, first, second, and third form, respectfully, Islam. All right, so the sister did ask a question, you know, regarding what will we teach the young men out here? And I've been speaking on this particular subject matter on Facebook about maybe almost 2.5, close to 3 weeks possibly, off and on. I spoke to a young brother just tonight, Well, the first thing we ought to know, let's keep this in perspective. The prophet teaches that our lessons are conferred to us in degrees. And from those lessons, the first thing he instructs, he teaches the women to teach these lessons to your little ones. And by these lessons, we men can set our house in order. So this is why you see the prophet Noble Jew Ali with the female on the front of the questionnaire. And she's the first teacher. All others follow suit if the teachings are correct. But one of the things, so I tell both all of us, I put a post up last time on Facebook talking about how I deal in the esoteric matter of things. I don't try to get too caught up in, the shape, the fancy form of the flesh all the time, though that's a part of life as well. But we have to give instructions, not so much just to the youth, but to ourselves. Because we don't have it first and they can't get it second. But these instructions ought to be given in the fashion that we ought to see beyond a person's image. The whole world sees the physical form. But the prophet said that man is not the body nor the soul, he's the spirit. And this is the part that we're looking for, based on words, works, and deeds, and actions. Any individual who has the disciplined mentality to draw that circle around his passions and resist the flesh is going to be better off. So, we try to address this thing with caution because we don't want to hurt people's feelings and everything. But the illusion of the world is very impactful and powerful. And a lot of times what we see is we're looking at the illusion in sick form. Somebody put a post up today and said that the reason why brothers don't want to see women no more in lingerie because we come outside and this is what we're seeing. So any man who has the mental discipline to walk in the midst of all that and still walk right by it like it don't exist, he's on the path to knowing himself and his Father God Allah. Because now he's demonstrating spiritual degrees. And we also need to show our people, male and female, the value of the institution of knowledge. Because a lot of times we don't see no value in it. And where we do recognize the value, if the masses of the people that are in our vicinity are not subscribing to that value system, then guess what? More than likely, we're going to try to put that on the back burner too. Blind leading the blind, they both end up in the ditch. This thing must be done in a conflict that cannot be told in words. And that conflict that cannot be told in words is the direct mirror reflection that you don't see in the mirror. That is the inner workings of self. This is what Moorish science is all about. The reconstruction. It's like that old movie, The $6 Million Man. We can rebuild him. And through his internal mechanisms, he came out with better strength, better speed. He was more astute at things that he's done. And that was a concept. But those concepts are real principles because they also apply here with us. These are tools that we use to rebuild ourselves first and foremost. Nothing is more dangerous, more despised than a resurrected brother in North America, the sleeping giant. Nothing is more feared on this earth right now. He is more feared than any so-called foreign country that has a laboratory trying to construct nuclear bombs. And when he's on point, everybody knows either they're going to get in line with his rules, laws, and regulations governed by a theatrical system, or pretty much they'll have to be subdued by him. So when he gets his head right, and believe it or not, let's give ourselves more credit than what we do. Because a lot of brothers are really coming of age today, and they're seeing things, and they're recognizing things. And these are the things that must not be ignored. The brother in the United States of North America is on the rise in more ways than one. And I see it. I see it. Whether they have this information or they're willing to listen to it and apply it. But it's taking place out there. And this is why there's so much turbulence in the ethers now in certain categories in our country. Because brothers are really standing on 2 feet and 10 toes because they're studying, they're listening, they're absorbing, they're learning. God is calling him again to take his place and rule once more. And can't no one do anything about it. It's a slow process, but it's a show process. But the process is being implemented. Just keep your eye on this brother. Next 10 years in passing, you'll see. Next 15 years in passing, you'll see. He's on the rise. I yield the floor. Islam.
Islam. I'd like to thank Deputy Chief Roy Bay for his elaboration and also to touch on the question the sister had on the floor. Islam. Is there anyone else would like to elaborate on the question that the sister had on the floor, or elaborate on the chapter or any other chapter that may relate to chapter 20?
Islam, Divine Master, Islam. This is Brother Rockman of the Maryland Republic. I would like to add to the conversation, if I may. Coming from a brother who made a lot of mistakes with the sisters, and over the years I have concluded the best possible way to hopefully get not just a woman but the right woman is the courtship, which is amongst our people something that only the so-called Caucasians do. It ain't for us, but the courtship, to get to know the sister, to get to know her family, because she'll have the same characteristics and traits as her family in most instances. And like the Drew said in the Circle 7, if her feet are not in thy father's house, forsake her. So if she's not spiritually inclined, that's a no-no. There are so many things. And then if you're not compatible and you don't match up, and then you end up with irrevocable solutions. So you must go into these relationships, first of all, like Brother had said earlier, not sexually, but spiritually and mentally, get to know the mate, your prospective mate. You have to find out her characteristics. You have to find the characteristics of the family. Or might be generational curses in the family. You don't know. You got to sometimes, find out what was the grandmother like, what was the grandfather like. You got to delve deep into the psychology and the sociology of this pending mate, because as sure as I'm talking on this phone, it will surface in the relationship. And matter of fact, my mother told me in one of my relationships, my many relationships, she said, speaking about the sister, she has a nasty disposition. And then you say, well, you don't listen to your mama as you should. Then you find out later the person does have a very nasty disposition. But you be warned. So you have to take heed to the warning signs and signals that your prospective mate might indicate in the courtship. And have a chaperone, because you can't be with a woman without a chaperone. Might sound phony to some, but I see where that's the key to this. And with that, I'll just relinquish the phone to call and say peace and happy holy days to all the brothers and sisters on the call. Happy holy day, happy holy night. Let us keep striving in the righteous way. Islam, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for that elaboration, Brother Rockman E.
Yeah.
And I think most people got something out of that with Deputy C. Floyd Bay and the brother Rockman E. I'm sorry, Mom. I apologize for that. Is it someone else want to elaborate on chapter 20 or with the question that the sister put on the floor, or would like to talk about this chapter or any other chapter relating to this, or chapter relating to the young lady?
Islam. This is Deputy Sheikah Celeste Thomas Bay, and the Thomas Bay family is checking in. Islam and peace.
Islam, Deputy Sheikah, Islam.
This is Deputy Sheikah's Sister Norma Solomon Eel, calling out of the New York Republic. Again, rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise and the highest honor to Allah, the Mother, Father, God of the universe, giving honor to all true and divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, Confucius, and to our illustrious prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his first, second, and third form, extending honors to our National Grand Sheikh, to all of our nobles, to our divine ministers, to our sheikesses, our deputy sheikesses, our sheiks, our deputy sheiks, to our citizens, members, students, any guests, our children, we all in it with Islam. Beautiful, beautiful read and beautiful commentary, placed on the floor, by our wonderful deputy sheikess, Carolyn Young Bay, and the demonstrations from the brother, Wimbush Bay, our beloved Deputy Sheikh Roy Bay, and our brother Angel Rockman Eel. Everybody was, on point. And this is a great question, and I applaud the brother, Wimbush Bay, for sharing his experience, with the family, as well as our brother Roy Bay, who, took it to the Koran, gave us the laws that the Prophet set down, and for our other brother Rockman for also stressing the importance of family, and I just want to share my experience with the family this evening. I came into the Moorish, when I came into the Moorish Science Temple, I had already had grown children, and we lived our life as, Christian folks, Negro, Black, Colored, etc. And so coming into the temple, and I began to get these lessons, I had never seen it laid out the way it was laid out. The Prophet was very specific, with his instructions, marriage instructions, duty of a husband, how we should treat our elderly parents. It blew my mind that the Prophet was thinking like this. And, what the Prophet brought us was nation building, specific instructions for young women, specific instructions for women to be a wife, to specific instructions to young boys, and I think my children came out pretty all right. One thing I didn't do, even when I was, practicing other things, other religions, and so on and so forth, is that I always told, and we're relating it to young men, I've always told my son the truth. The truth about, these so-called holidays and, what they really meant, spoke to him about the birds and the bees. His father wasn't really involved in his life, and I told him, I could never be your father. I can only be your mother, and since Brother Roy Bay mentioned that women are the first teachers, I was responsible for teaching him. There was no other male figure around, so I talked to him about the birds and the bees. I taught him, there's this saying that, we raise our daughters, and we praise our sons, meaning that we don't give our sons any type of living skills, how to clean, how to cook, how to wash clothes, how to do for self, how to shop in the supermarket, so I gave that to him. I spoke to him about, the birds and the bees to the best of my understanding, and I let him know, listen, I only can give you my perspective as a woman, but these are the type of qualities, that men should look for, in women. I let him know things women or what I liked, what some women don't like, that it was important that, he be able to bring this young lady to our home, to build with us and to bond with us. So we got an idea, who she was, and that he got a chance to know who she was. Brother Rahmael talked about the courtship. Is she the right one? And also being open, and, letting the young brother know that I was here for him, and that if he needed some help in some other areas, that there were other male figures around, that he could go to, for that. I love our temple, and, in our Sunday school, we have a lot of young future guiders of the nation, and if I had the opportunity to do things over again, maybe with a grandchild or, mentoring a young man in my life, the temple is the way to go to rear children. If they get these lessons from young, a lot of mistakes can be avoided, if we give them these lessons that the prophet gave us. One thing that we don't do as parents is we don't be harsh or overly critical to our children when they do make errors, because it is by experience that we do learn. We can keep our lives open, don't hold anything back, and share our experience, with our children, especially our male children, advise them with love, give them rationale, and we know as a youngin' growing up, we're going to do what we're going to do anyway, however, it's the example that we set as parents that our children are watching and they are emulating. So, thank you for the question, Sister Deputy Sheikah Carolyn Young Bay. All I can say is be truthful, with your children. Let them know, the mistakes that you made and that you made these errors for them. So they don't have to walk down the same path, that they can break those chains and they can be equally yoked with someone. Could be a sister in the temple, and what we say, we always don't want a house divided. But like, is she interested in what you are interested in? Does she want to rise with you? What are her goals? What are her dreams? What are her aspirations? Is she bringing something to the table? Or are you bringing something to the table? Have you worked on self? What are your areas? What do you want to work on? What are your goals? These are the things that we talk to our children about, These are the principles that we give them, and hopefully they can take that out to the world and choose, a mate that's suitable, that's compatible with them, that they have love in their relationship, and, build families and rear families and pass these teachings on from the prophet from generation to generation. So I just wanted to share that in my demonstration. Islam and peace.
Islam. Islam, Deputy Sheikh Normal Solomon Eel. That was on time. That was on time. It was a beautiful demonstration. Is there anyone else who would like to call in and make their presence known, would like to elaborate on chapter 20 or elaborate on what the sister said as far as Deputy Speaker Carolyn Youngbay said on the floor, any other chapter in the book?
Islam, Sheikh Youngbay, this is Sheikh Casey Bay, Texas Republic. May I be heard, Elder?
Islam, bro.
Islam. Gratitude. First of all, I want to rise to my highest height, giving all due honor, praise to Allah, the great God of the universe, for there is no other God but the great God, Allah alone. I'd like to extend great honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I'd like to continue standing and giving honor and praise to our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bay, giving honor to each and every one of our sheikhs and sheikhesses on the line, deputy sheikhs, deputy sheikhesses, members abroad. Islam, happy holy day and evening, peace and love, and Prakonium Alut in Moorish Latin, which simply means praise Allah. First of all, I'd like to say, thanks everyone for their commentary. I've just been listening because this chapter is such a, father-son conversation type of chapter. I look at it from chapter 1, or should I say verse 1 to 5, as like dealing with lower self, and from 6 to 10 in dealing with higher self. But in answering the Deputy Sheikh's question, like, how do you really talk about this? I mean, let's just be honest. In a perfect world, we can say, like, well, all right, son, well, look at your mother, or look at, your aunt or somebody in your immediate, vicinity in a perfect world, and be like, you want to model who you want your wife like, how I did it. But this is not a perfect world, and things didn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. It's very seldom, especially in our Asiatic families, that we have a full household. This chapter is speaking on nation building, absolutely, because the nation starts with the family. It has to. And it has to be this consideration of us really getting back to being corny again, like the elder was saying. We have to take time to investigate who our partner is. Choose wisely, for it will determine your happiness. See, it's hard to explain these things to our young men these days because they are so bombarded by Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the daily news, the radio. Everything around is sex, sex, sex. We're living in a modern day Babylon. This is Sodom and Gomorrah 2021. How do you battle that? Okay? So what I tell my son, and what I would tell any young man when you're going through this, understand first of all that it's a metaphor. Because believe it or not, a lot of our young Asiatic men that are outside of this movement, they don't read like this. When you start speaking about sweet enticements and enslaved by her enchanting delusions, they're going to be like, are you reading a fairy book or a story? Like, we don't understand that. So what I would do is I would make it simple. I said, think about the nicest girl that you probably passed up because she wasn't going to give you any. She wasn't going to play this game with you that you could sweet talk her and get her in the car. That girl that you passed up, the one who had all those good morals and, she kept her foot in her father's house, as they say. She wasn't the one running around. That's the one that you should have been pursuing. Why? Because she respects herself. And if you respect yourself, young man, which is really where this is going to start, by you respecting yourself, you would respect that young lady and get some time into this. Investigate your mate, son. This is what this chapter is really saying. Minus all the flowery, pretty words that are in there, this is our divine and holy instructions. Make no mistake behind it. But because you don't understand these words that you think are pretty and flowery, okay, let's just break it down. You don't want the individual who's loose in the world, who acts like everybody that you see on TV, who does everything that you hear on the radio and through your favorite artist. That's not the person who you want to build a life with, because everything that you see on Divorce Court and Jerry Springer is what's going to happen to you. This is what I would tell them. If I'm speaking to a Moorish child, I would direct you towards the Prophet's literature and at bare minimum saying, as a young man, when you make these right decisions, when you read Caveat Emptor, or Caveat Emptor as it's spoken in normal tongue, it tells you right at the beginning, Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the Prophet to a destination which is not uncertain nor unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such realms. You're held to a higher standard, son. So make the decisions, especially when you speak about your mate, because you are nation building when you make that decision. That's nation building. It starts from the home. You understand that, and everything else around you will fall in line. It's like, seek ye the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. Have your house not in order, and see what comes to you. With that, I'd like to say Islam, peace and love. Thank you, everyone, for your portion in peace, as it has definitely helped me formulate mine. But please keep in mind that this particular chapter is a call out to each and every man that if you have not had that conversation, if you're playing around with that conversation, if you are looking to have that conversation, or if you even have young men around you, don't be scared to have that conversation. Trust me, if they're willing to talk about all the things that they're talking about in that song, there's no problem. And when I say song, I'm talking about any song that you hear on these radio these days, okay? Let's talk about some righteousness and about the decisions that you make that could really make you happy or really make you sad. Start with yourself, with respecting yourself, and you will respect that woman enough to be patient and find out who she really is and give you an opportunity to see who you are too, young man. With that, I say Islam and peace, and thank you, Elder, for the audience of the floor. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Thank you, Brother Kason Bey. Sheikh Kason Bey, I'm sorry. Thank you for that elaboration, Mo, and I know that was food for thought. Like all the elaborations on the floor was food for thought. Islam, is there anyone else who would like to elaborate on this chapter, or with the sister put on the floor as a question, or any other chapter relating to this chapter? Islam? Islamo.
Beautiful commentary by all my Muslim brothers and sisters tonight. Let's see if I could add a little bit to it. Arise and giving perfect praises to Allah, giving honor to all true divine prophets, seen, unseen, known, unknown, and reincarnated, and to illustrious Hebrew prophets, and these days end time prophet noble to Allah, sending those divine honors to our national Grand Chief Joe Baton Bay, and to our officials in Baltimore and other republics, my brothers and sisters on the call, and Muslims all over the world. Shout out to Marcus Messiah, God be the forerunner, and to the ancient spirit that guide us through these turbulent times. Yes, Moors, you have truly said a lot. Just gonna say this. Being on these calls for a few times, I made a statement, and I think this fits those statements. I'm gonna repeat. As children coming into this world, they taught us that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And I said the first part of that phrase is incorrect. The second we could deal with. And tonight, this is what we have been dealing with as far as what this chapter is saying and what the prophet's lessons are inclined to do to us if we participate in studying to make that change to our higher consciousness. Yes. Allurement. The quality of being powerfully and mysteriously attractive or fascinating. That was a noun, a verb. Powerfully attract or charm, tempt. So allurement is one trying to tempt someone, and let's deal with wanting to see what is the temptation all about. It says sexually unrestrained or having many casual sexual relationships. Yes. And as we know, this applies to both male and female. So I don't even have to say anything else about that. But as our brother stated, was Sheikh Jason Bay, the first 5 verses are pertaining to the lower self. And we know that breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, and theft, and everything that harms. And the remainder is about the higher self. And as we were created in the image and after the likeness of Allah, we were truly born in love. Now these lessons is the lessons we need to formulate ourselves to make that change. And I'm gonna read a verse from chapter 39, 17. It says, "To what end, O child of sorrow, wouldst thou live longer? To breathe, to eat, to see the world? All this thou hast done often already. Too frequent repetition, is it not tiresome? Or is it not superficial?" So I did that to say, just reading that kind of reminds me of certain of the lower self action participated before knowledge and lessons how to climb that ladder to higher consciousness. And if we stop, look, and listen to that still voice we would learn how to get forward to that higher self, because being as we are not true to self, as we were not taught the truth as youth coming up. So what we see is always enticing. We like to follow. And the truth and false would strangely mix. Within the false, there is truth. So one would believe or think that they be doing the right thing in doing whatever lower self action they would be participating, not knowing they're going lower. And just talking on the creative forces that, as far as procreation, it has two effects. One is to procreate. If not used, it matures the mind. So that oil that those virgin didn't have, virgin, the oil that the 5 other virgin had, it's another story connected to this story. Islam was my little bit. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Emmanuel, peace for all Muslims on the call.
Islam. Thank you, Deputy Sheikh Mikhail Mashur Bey. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful elaboration. Is there anyone else would like to elaborate on this chapter or the sister's question or any other chapter relating to this chapter? Islam.
Islam, this is Deputy Seeker Celeste Thomas Bay. First, I'd like to rise. I give all perfect praises to Allah, all of the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammed, Buddha, and Confucius, our prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Ali, our national Grand Sheikh Joe Batten Bay, all of our national officials, all of our Sheikesses, Deputy Sheiks, members, citizens, students, and guests. I greet you all with Islam. Happy Holy Night to all the Muslims worldwide. I just want to say a beautiful demonstration that was put on the floor about all of our sisters and our brothers that spoke before. And I just wanted to add a little. I know for a fact that these lessons are divinely prepared for a reason. And the reason why these lessons are divinely prepared because the prophet knows that not only did he, but we all are going to live a humanistic experience. And while we're battling with our higher self, lower self, carnal ways, we're going to slip at times. And there's going to be things that are going to be put in our way. There are going to be obstacles and trials and tribulations that we have to overcome. That is just the human way. And these lessons are here to instill in us positivity, strength. It's a blueprint. It's a guideline for our principles and to go the right direction. Because the prophet knows that's why it's the higher self and the low self. And it's times that people might dabble, they might slip, and they might be fighting to get out of the low self. I know that when you instill things into children, especially children, you know, they don't forget it. They might do other things, but when they need to tap into what's within, they will. And a lot of times we can be the perfect example or close to as perfect as we can be of what a Moorish American brother or sister is supposed to be or look like. But at the end of the day, being that they have a humanistic experience and they're going out there into the world, they're still going to live their life. They're still going to see things that's going to spark their interest, whether it's good or bad. And they might try things out. And we have to understand that it's okay because you cannot live a person's life no matter how much you try. You can't. And you cannot control a person. Doesn't matter if they came from you. And what we have to trust and know is that what we instill in them, these lessons, these blueprints, these instructions, the things that we are reading and we are internalizing, we have to trust that when they need to tap into that, and if they slip and they fall and they stray away, they will tap back into that. That's why no matter what, we cannot beat ourselves up when we can't control or understand something. What we can do is make sure we teach them the right way. We teach them everything that we didn't have from the very beginning. We teach them what is right, what is wrong, how to recognize it, so that when they need to tap in and they need to utilize those tools, it will always be there because it's within. So with that being said, we need to love each other, love on our children, talk to them as often as we can, and let them know it's okay to sometimes make a mistake. But never forget what you learned. Never forget your foundation. Never forget your lessons. Because one day, if we haven't already done it, everybody's going to have to stand on it and demonstrate, and they're going to have to use it to navigate some situation or another. So we just got to teach them and instill that, because whatever's within will always be within. And with that, I'd like to say Islam and peace.
Islam. Thanks. Thank you, Deputy Sheikh Thomas Bey, for that beautiful commentary. All the elaborations were wonderful. They were beautiful. I enjoyed it. I'm quite sure everyone else enjoyed it. Everyone got something out of it. And is there anyone else wanna elaborate before we close out? Islam, at this time, if there are no more demonstrations on this chapter, we will start to close out. As always, we would like to acknowledge, welcome our guests and visitors who may have joined us with us on this evening. Give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, unmute your phone, and give us your call from your name. Islam, I have a few announcements to make. Our children's Sunday school is every Sunday at 12 noon, with our adult Sunday school immediately afterwards. Join us by dialing 443-961-4434. Sunday school conference call. Playback. For everyone who is interested in listening to our reviewing our Sunday school and recordings, go to the website at Moorish American National Republic.com and go to the resource tab to the Sunday school recording to access your recordings. Sunday school enrollment. Those interested, send an email to sundayschool@MoorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com, a registration, and receive your photo packet, your info package, inshallah. Please include the names of all your children, their ages, birthdays, and school grades. Our town hall call is every Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m., where we discuss the national side of the movement. Join us by dialing at 443-961-4434. Our Moorish School of Law and History. New classes are in session. You can register on your website at Moorish American National Republic.com for instructions. Our Friday Holy Night call is every Friday evening at 9 p.m. You can join us by dialing 443-961-4434. Our members forum call is every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Members in good standings can send an email to webmaster at Moorish American National Republic.com for instructions. Our Sisters Auxiliary call is every fourth Thursday of each month. Sisters wanting to connect with other feminine energy can send an email to Sisters Auxiliary at 13 subhanAllah, Sisters Auxiliary 13 at gmail.com for instructions. Young Men's Business League call is every third Thursday of each month. For those interested, can send an email to the Young Men's Business League at gmail.com. Skill and talents committees. Our committees need your leadership and skills. Those interested can visit our website at Moorish American National Republic.com. At this time, are there any announcements by any of our officials? I have an announcement to make. This is to the administrative announcement, rather. To the members. When mailing your dues, please include your dues card with a photocopy of your dues card. In the upper right-hand corner of your dues card, you will see the letters DON and a blank line, which stands for date of naturalization. Write the date you were naturalized on that line. If DON is not written in the right-hand corner, write the date you were naturalized in that corner. Make 2 copies. Keep 1 copy home for your record. Include the month and year you are paying your dues. Also, if you change your address, please indicate so with a note when you mail your dues card. This is so we can update and mark the records correctly. This concludes my administrative announcement for the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, Moorish American National Republic. At this time, the reading of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Divine Warning, subhanAllah. Islam. Divine Warning by the Prophet, Noble Jewel. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamations at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet will violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down to them by their prophet. if they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button and cease wearing their fez, turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do all their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by order of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. At this time, we probably might hear from our Grand Sheikh Joe Bratton Bay. If he's on the line, please press 9 **, National Grand Sheikh, and we'll hear from you. If not, we know that our National Grand Sheikh is at the temple, elaborating and uplifting those more. Islam? This time, we will be reading the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. Please press **, unmute your phones, and repeat after me. That's chapter 25, page 35. The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. We are the children of one Father, provided for by
children of one Father.
Go down, Mo. Let him finish.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
And the breast of one mother has given us suck.
That the bonds of affection, therefore,
Let the bonds of affection, therefore,
unite us with our brothers and sisters.
Unite us with our brothers and sisters.
That peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house.
That peace and happiness may dwell in thy Father's house.
And when we separate in the world, remember the relation.
And when we separate in the world, remember the
relation.
That bondeth us to love and unity.
That bondeth us
to love and unity.
And prefer not a stranger before our own blood.
And prefer
not a stranger before our own blood.
If our brothers in adversity assist him.
If our brothers in adversity
assist him.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
If our sister is in trouble, forsake her not.
Forsake her not.
So shall the fortunes of our Father.
So shall the fortunes of our Father
contribute to the support of his whole race.
Contribute to the support
of his whole race.
And his care be continued to us all.
And his care be continued to us all.
and our love to each other.
And our love
to each other.
We will end this meeting as we started. For those who are able, please stand and face the east, arms perpendicular to the floor, feet at a 45-degree angle, 5 fingers extended on the left hand, fingers close together, and 2 extended on the right hand, fingers close together. Islam, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, through Ali, Amen. Peace. Islam owns. Until next week's creation,